I'm so honored to get to talk to you about the hottest thing in the news in the world right now, which is crypto. Um, I have a ton of questions, but I kind of just want to start at the beginning and hear about how you got interested in cryptocurrency in the first place and then how you found yourself
Mhm.
working in the crypto world.
Yeah, it's like really funny to me because if you had asked me a year ago, um, like where I would have seen myself working, I would have never imagined that crypto would be an answer that I would give.
Mhm.
Um,
That's so
but
creative.
I kind of approach it like more from an art perspective. I've worked for museums. I worked for the Broad in downtown LA, and even in college worked for like the on-campus art gallery and was always trying to get people to like come to art classes and hosting exhibitions. And um, you went to UCLA too, so you're like familiar with Jazz Reggae Festival.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was the art director for the festival, and have just like always enjoyed working with artists and getting to know them and finding opportunities for them to share their work with the world.
Nice.
And I actually thought that I wanted to work in music um, after
Interesting.
college.
Huh.
Yeah, I interned at Live Nation while I was in at UCLA and like got a taste of what that's like to work in the entertainment industry. It was exciting and like the projects that I got to work on were really cool. Um, but I don't know, it just something about like art really pulled me in
Yeah.
and kind of just fell in that direction and my career was just kind of overtaken by art. Um, and how I got to crypto.
I mean, it's an
So,
interesting juxtaposition. I mean, is crypto
hmm,
like art in and of itself? Is it
mhm.
the art form of money, of currency?
There is now, like with the emergence of NFTs, which have actually been around for a while, but it just seems like people are really understanding like how to use them as artists. And how did
Non-fungible
I get
token.
here?
NFT is a
Yeah, yeah.
non-fungible token. What does fungible mean?
That means that it can't be replicated. So there are like in crypto, there's fungible tokens and there's non-fungible tokens. And
Interesting.
fungible tokens, there can be millions of the same one that exist. Like Ethereum is a fungible token. Um, and NFTs are distinctly unique one of one
Okay.
coins. Yeah. Which is
And
why, like, in the art context, they resonate because there's like a built in scarcity to them where if you are making work, it does map to that, like, this is a unique artwork that I created that exists. Just like
so
in like the real world, I guess.
so is the artwork in itself an NFT or is what you're paying for it with an NFT?
So an NFT is a token representing the digital artwork. When you're buying one, you own the token. You're so like technically we use Ethereum.
Mhm.
And Ethereum is like the second major cryptocurrency after Bitcoin.
Mhm.
Um, and it's actually like a network. So there are applications that are built on top of Ethereum that use the cryptocurrency called Ether.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's what's used to purchase NFTs. I guess specifically like where I work, you can buy NFTs with other currencies,
Okay.
um, but it's like they're native to Ethereum. NFTs also exist on other blockchains too, I mean, if you're like coming at it from ground zero, it's like kind of I don't know how to wrap like your head around it fully.
No, it makes sense. I
Um,
totally
yeah,
get it. It's just really
yeah.
interesting
What's like
because
your mm-hmm.
uh,
Hi, not Dan Soto. What's like
hey,
your understanding or like how did you first learn about them?
about NFTs.
Yeah. Or like what's
Um,
like your level of
I learned about NFTs right
knowledge in this
now.
space?
I googled it when you said it just to make sure I understood. Um, I mean, I think it's really interesting because I totally get that it's a token that represents a one of a kind piece of art that you're buying,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
it encompasses so many things, right? It's encompassing the art itself, it's encompassing the file, right?
Hmm.
Like, I mean, the size of what the NFT is like encapsulating, I think is really interesting because I'm sure some files are huge, some files are small, like the quality, all of like the more technical aspects um, of what the art is and what the art represents, I think is really interesting. I don't, does that make sense?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. And like the interesting thing is that the file itself is actually hosted on in like a decentralized network. So it's not technically like part of it, but it is mapped to the token. So yeah,
Wow. Wow.
I don't know. And also it's like it's so early that I think people are still really like, um, I don't know, like you can play around with the format a lot.
Yeah.
Because they're digital, they can be programmable. And so in the future, they can like be used to give you access to events, maybe, or um, I don't know, like another interesting application right now is how musicians are using NFTs.
Tell
And
me more.
they're like, yeah, um, you can, because you can like store a file that's not necessarily just art. Musicians are testing the waters and sharing um, tracks or their catalogs.
Wow.
It's very early,
Hmm.
um, but I just see like so many different types of artists entering the space right now that everyone's kind of just like figuring it out in real time. It's a really exciting space, actually. If you just,
Yeah.
I
So
don't know, if you follow along. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, it's so cool. I mean, I've seen more and more people that I'm friends with selling their art through crypto galleries. What would you call with Foundation?
So Foundation is a marketplace for
Okay.
artists to, we provide like the space for artists to mint their own NFTs and then they get
Mm.
placed within our marketplace so that people can purchase them. But the thing about NFTs is that they're like, they can actually exist on other platforms. They're interoperable, which is like maybe another interesting like part about them that's I don't know of like things that have had properties like this before. The example is like if you posted something on Instagram, it could also exist in other spaces online too, because the data for it is publicly available, and so you can take it anywhere you want to on the internet as long as it
Right.
exists as a token. Mm-hmm.
Right. I have seen people do that. They post what they're selling on Instagram and then it goes up for auction. So, my
But technically,
understanding,
like on Instagram, it's like that's just the image.
right,
That's not the NFT.
right.
But the thing about them too is that like the image itself can continue to circulate um, online, and that doesn't change the fact that there is someone that owns the token or collects it.
I mean,
Um,
couldn't it actually raise the value if it becomes more popular through circulation?
Yeah, that like the example for that is um and like Andy Warhol in the pop movement. He would create screen printed images of like popular brands,
Right.
and just because like the images were very recognizable and people shared them and put them on, I don't know, anything like bags, posters, like you'd see his images everywhere, but that doesn't take away from the fact that there's still like one canonical artwork that exists.
Hmm.
And so like the value of that original piece can increase if the image is more widely seen and appreciated and valued in the culture.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. I have more questions down this track, but I realize I totally sidetracked us because you were telling us about how you even got into the space. So
Oh
I want to go
yeah.
back to that and then we'll get back into this conversation. But yeah, I need to
Mhm.
hear how you found yourself in this incredible world.
Uh, okay, let me backtrack. I
Sorry.
think I think it was like around 2016, 2017 during the last like crypto bull run
Hmm.
where everything was like the price of Bitcoin had like reached a new all-time high, and there was just so much talk about it. Like it's kind of happening again right now.
Right.
Um, but I think like maybe some people just saw the price of it and only thought of it as a currency, but then I started to do more research about Ethereum and really like understood the like technology behind how a blockchain works and like what can exist within that. And over like the past few years, I've seen more projects emerge that were being built using the Ethereum network. And my like first experience with NFTs was through CryptoKitties. Have you heard of CryptoKitties?
No, I haven't.
So it's essentially a project where you can breed collectible cats on the Ethereum blockchain. Um,
What? I'm Googling.
yeah, so you
Hold
can.
on. We're pulling this up. I'm pulling this up.
Yeah, it, it was like my first time experimenting with it really. In order to use it, you need to have like a crypto wallet, you need to have some ETH in it to pay for gas, so
Wow.
that you can like interact with the site. And so essentially, like I was just trying to. Oh, got really staticky.
Um,
I was
yeah, sorry.
trying
That
to.
should go away. You can still. Just wait. Sorry. My audio.
Okay, sorry. We're good.
Okay.
Crypto kitties. Oh, it came up right away. Okay.
Yeah, it's like maybe like one of the OG NFT platforms. it
What?
it was just like it was like a very fun intro into the space. I don't think I like fully understood what was happening like behind the scenes with how this worked. But all of the cats that exist on CryptoKitty are unique one of ones. There's collectible ones. They do artist collaborations where there are like limited edition drops of kitties, and people really get into collecting them. Um,
I'm looking at this video. I'm like, whoa. I'm obsessed. This is so cute and cool. So were people dropping just like a
I
ton
agree.
of money on these?
Well, the thing is that it wasn't really that expensive to play around with it.
Hmm.
Um, Only when like the price of ETH is high, then I would say it gets like kind of pricey to breed cats. But I was trying to essentially make a crypto kitty that looked like my cat, and so
Oh.
I would just spend like a lot of time on there trying to do that. and I got like fairly close. But then
Was it
I
hard to do?
thought about it. No, it's not that hard to do. It just depends on how much time it takes for the cats to breed, an egg to hatch, and
Wow. Oh, look.
it
This is so how did you find out about this in the first place?
when it like first came out, it was like talked about everywhere in like the crypto space because I don't think there was anything like it before. Um, and I just wanted to like check it out. And and so even to like use crypto kitties, you actually need to have a crypto wallet.
Mhm. What crypto wallet app do you
Um,
use? I just got
I
Coinbase.
used MetaMask. I used MetaMask.
MetaMask.
Yeah, Coinbase is like I think there is a Coinbase wallet that you could connect to CryptoKitties, but MetaMask is like one that lives in your browser, and it is what becomes like your login to these crypto sites. Um,
Interesting. Wow. So this was in 2016 that you were doing this?
I was doing this like maybe in 2018. And then
Okay.
like last year I was using it again more just because there was so much free time.
Right.
I had
This
a
is
lot of free
so
time.
cool. Oh my gosh. Okay. So you were interested, you clearly had some serious experience. So what happened
It
next?
wasn't even like clearly, it wasn't even really experience. It was just more of a curiosity about the space.
Mhm.
And these were things that I was just like trying on my own. Um, and even then, I didn't really have that many friends that were interested in it. So it was mostly like me spending time learning about these things and teaching myself how to use them, making a lot of mistakes,
Mhm.
not really understanding how a MetaMask worked, and
Mhm.
a lot of trial and error.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I would like recommend just like even going to the Ethereum website and reading a bit more about how it works.
Yeah.
Because this is like one of many applications that are built on top of it that you can play around with. I'd say like the bulk applications that existed were mostly financial based.
Mhm.
Um, but now there are applications that are more focused on arts and culture.
Mhm.
And I would say like last year is when I started noticing that, and maybe this is the same experience that you had, but a lot of like artists that I follow on Instagram or know of on who like have a presence online started talking more about how they were starting to sell their work using crypto.
Mhm.
Um, and I just started doing more research about all of it and came across Foundation, who at the time were doing really cool things with physical and digital items.
Yeah.
Um, we don't work with physical items anymore. We're purely digital. But just to see like artists that I've admired in online for so long, being part of this, I I don't know. It just like it was kind of the convergence of like things that I had been interested in throughout my career
Yeah.
and didn't expect that like there would be a day that like art and crypto would intersect in this way and that I would like have a role in all of it.
That's
Um,
incredible. Wow.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Even like now talking to, I think like it's exciting for people that understand it and like can kind of see the direction that it's heading in.
Mhm.
But I do still think that like there's a lot of education that needs to go into getting more people
Yep.
interested in this space. I think if you're like really into internet culture and online culture, that it's like something that's a bit easier to understand. But when I
Definitely.
talk to like friends who are in the museum space still, I
Hmm.
think they don't fully understand it. But
Yeah.
I would love for like I would love to be like the bridge between the traditional art world and this new like crypto space that we're entering.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the dream. Like, you're already doing it, number one, like you're there, and the next 10 to 20 years is are going to be insane. I think no
Yeah.
matter what industry you're in, if you're a progressive, forward-thinking person, a lot of people are threatened by that. People don't like new things, you know? It's very
Mhm.
scary and threatening
Yeah.
to the traditional way of life. But being on the front end of things is something I also care about. And I also really care about giving opportunities to artists and getting artists paid.
Mhm.
Um, so I
Mhm.
really felt that when you said that earlier. Because I'm right there
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
you.
After I like worked at the Broad, um I was part of like the team that opened the museum in 2015, which was also really exciting. But then after that, I um, worked for a smaller museum in downtown LA. It was going to be a much larger project, but we had a residency program focused on supporting artists based in Los Angeles. So I
Hmm.
went from working with like major like blue chip contemporary artists to working more with like the local Los Angeles community.
It's
And
awesome.
and like my time there, I think really impacted me because there are so many artists in LA
Hmm.
that were having like such a hard time like finding a way to get their work in front of people, and like the resources that are available to artists
Yeah.
are are like not as accessible. And so when we had a residency program, like even to just see the amount of artists that were applying for the six spaces that we had available, like I wish that we could have found a way to like have more artists within the space.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, just like seeing like the level of I don't know, just like seeing how many artists apply for these types of opportunities was really eye opening to me. And yeah, and when we had artists in residence, like I really enjoyed just getting to like hang out with them in their studio and talk to them about what they were working on and like find opportunities to help them tell their stories through. I worked in marketing and PR there, and so if I could have like find a way to get a press opportunity in front of them to
Hmm.
like get their work more seen, then I'd always be open to talking to the artists that we work with about that.
Yeah.
Um, and they were always like so happy to be a part of it. Um,
Yeah. I
yeah, I have
mean,
just like always loved working with artists. I don't consider myself an artist, but I love being like the person that helps them to get to get more people to like know who they are and where they're coming from.
yeah. Well, from
Yeah.
stalking your Instagram, it definitely seems like you're an artist. It looked like you designed a bunch of stuff, so I would consider you an artist. Um, I'm curious, so
Thanks.
what is your like title? I get not like titles matter, but just for people that are watching that are interested in like how to get into this industry, like were you a curator at the
Hmm.
museums or like what kind of work were you doing at the
Hmm.
museums and how does that translate to what you're doing now?
Hmm. So I was actually the first marketing manager at the Broad. So I was the person who started all of the social media accounts
What?
and worked on all of like the PR and advertising campaigns around the openings and the exhibitions and the programming. Um, and like the funny thing about that is I I think like how to say this. I don't know. I think because social media was still fairly new as a medium at that time, my coworkers were really open to letting me experiment and kind of like run with any ideas that I had in like how I approached social media
Mm-hmm.
at the Broad. Um, so that was exciting. And yeah, I've just always worked in marketing and slightly some PR.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I kind of fell into the marketing world too. When I was at UCLA, I was, I guess it's considered curating, but I was the director of the on-campus art gallery,
Oh,
and
awesome.
I would like find ways to get people to come to our openings. And I don't think I like fully realized that what I was doing was marketing
Yeah.
um, until someone had like pointed out to me that I was really good at marketing. and and then that just so happened to be like the career path that I fell into. Um, and I would say like specifically digital marketing. That was
Mm-hmm.
my role as an intern at Live Nation and at the Broad and at the main museum. Um, and like recently before I joined Foundation, I was actually working for a restaurant group in Los Angeles where we worked with 18 restaurants, and I was doing a lot of like the social and website development and brand development for restaurants that were open and a few concepts that were launched during my time there.
Cool.
Um, yeah, the thing is though that restaurants aren't doing are not having the best year, and so I really feel for a lot of the like my friends that are in the hospitality industry. Um, yeah,
It's very difficult.
and my title now is lead content creative.
Awesome.
So it's just like kind of a mix of everything I've been doing throughout my career. But
Awesome.
because we're a small team, um, it's like really emphasized that we can be more entrepreneurial in our roles.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just like finding new opportunities in this space is really exciting.
Wow. This might be a weird question. You can totally not answer, but do you get
Okay.
paid in cryptocurrency or do you get paid in dollars?
That's an excellent question.
Genuinely curious.
I get paid in dollars,
Okay.
um, but I I'm not sure. I'm sure that that exists at other crypto startups.
I think it
And I think there
does.
was a story recently about I forgot his name, a football player who just announced that he would only accept his salary in Bitcoin.
Oh my gosh.
I think we'll
Wow.
start to see stories like this
Oh yeah.
come out more.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
it's going down. Wow.
yeah.
Okay, so thank you for painting this picture for us. It's really an incredible and like fascinating trajectory. And it makes so much sense. I feel like things just really fell into place for you at the right time, um, to bring you to this really exciting place. Obviously, crypto has been blowing up in the past couple of weeks, and we can kind of talk about
Mhm.
that. But one of my burning questions is, what do people do with the NFT after they buy it? Because I checked out Foundation's site and I saw, how
Mhm.
it is an auction. I'm definitely going to buy something. I want you to like keep an eye out for me on a really cool piece that I need to get. But my question is,
yeah.
what
Did
do
you
you
make a
do with
profile
it?
yet?
No, I haven't yet.
No? Okay.
Um,
Highly recommend you make a profile.
I will.
You'll need a MetaMask to do
Okay.
that. If
I'm
you need
gonna
help setting it up, let me
I'm gonna
know.
download it as soon as we're done with this. And I will, yeah, add you on
yeah.
it. But so my burning question is, what do people do with their NFTs after they buy them? Because I have this
Yeah.
vision in my head. Did you watch the OA on Netflix, that show?
I didn't watch the OA, but I love Jason Bateman.
I don't
Is
think Jason
that the
Bateman's in
show that he's
it.
in?
No. I like Jason Bateman too. Shout out Jason Bateman. Um, well, it's this show, and I bring it up because
Yeah.
there's some like beautiful digital art in it.
Hmm.
And one of the characters is like this very rich woman, and in her apartment, she has like projectors displaying all this beautiful digital art on the wall that's like
Hmm.
interactive. It looks like a tree, like a living tree on the wall. And so when I think of
Hmm.
people buying crypto art, which I think of as digital art, I imagine like rich people who have like giant frames in their homes that have like their digital art being projected or like a TV screen. But that's probably totally wrong, so I would love to hear what people actually do with it.
I would say that the funny thing is that there are no wrong answers right now. It's still so early
Yeah.
that there isn't even like a solid answer for that question.
Mhm.
Um, there are museums that are actually popping up in the crypto space, and if you want to check some out, there's one called MoCA, Museum of Crypto Art, where they've amassed a collection of hundreds of NFTs, and they've actually built out a museum space in a, I don't even know how to explain it, in like a virtual setting. The platform itself is called Crypto Voxels, so they've essentially recreated the museum in a virtual space, and anyone is free to just go and experience it. Um,
Okay, so it's a
I've
digital
gone and
museum.
yeah, it's a digital museum, but they're like if I've collected a few NFTs, and I think like maybe down the line, what I'd like to do is also buy some land in one of these decentralized spaces. There are a few of them. There's one called Crypto Voxels. There's another one called Decentraland. There's another one called the Sandbox. Um,
Wow.
and just like create a space to share my NFTs with other people to see. It's still up in the air. It's like if you wanted to display them in your home, you could find a way to do that. Um, However you choose to appreciate them, I think is an individual like decision that you make. Yeah.
Wow. And things
And the
are
other thing
gonna
like about Foundation is that when you collect NFTs on our site, they actually show up on your collector profile. So
Oh.
even like the few that I've collected so far um, are there for anyone to see if they want to.
So interesting. And like once AR and VR gets better and they're actually like chill headsets,
Hmm.
it's going to be a totally different viewing experience and it's going to be a totally different ownership experience. Um, I was
Hmm.
reading on the Foundation website about the metaverse, which is
Hmm.
something I've thought about a lot for years. But now it's kind of making more sense that these mini metaverses are popping up as a place to experience and own art.
Hmm. Yeah, that's exactly it.
So interesting. I'm going to read some stuff from chat because I have been ignoring. Sorry, whoa, bro, what the fuck, and not Dane Soto. Thanks for chilling with us. Please feel free to get in on this conversation. I will start reading your comments now. Um, Not Dane Soto. Okay, well, Daniel7863 said, "Should I invest in XRP?" Um, I, do you have any thoughts on that? I don't know what that means.
uh, um, Not financial advice, but I think XRP is being investigated by the SEC.
Hmm.
Um, or yeah, I don't know. That's a personal decision that you should make after doing your own research. Do
Thank
I
you.
own any? I do not.
Good to know. Thank you, Daniel. Not Dane Soto said, Sam got me to understand the crypto art space, which required her to get me to understand crypto. And Whoa Bro said, I've seen those graphic designs. You're a confirmed artist. And then they said, it's interesting to me because I feel like it forces us to reassess the idea of what ownership means in regards to artwork, which
Hmm.
I totally agree. I mean,
Hmm. Was that
it's
Jonah?
it was
Is
Jonah.
Jonah in
Yes.
here?
Yeah, it's Jonah.
Hey, Jonah. Jonah and I are actually cooking up I guess it's not a secret if I talk about it, but we want to organize a little show in a decentralized space with our friends to make some NFTs. I've actually got Jonah into NFTs, and he's actually minted a few on OpenSea. Um, Proud to say that
What?
I'm a collector of Jonah's work. Yeah,
What the heck? What it tell me more.
Amanda, you have to get in on this.
I count me in on all of this. Like as I said, I invested some money in Ethereum and Bitcoin. I've got my Coinbase going. Um, and I'm ready to continue the journey. This is just the beginning.
That's probably how I felt a few years ago, and then it just completely takes over. So welcome.
I'm I'm a bit late to the game, but I love
Mm-hmm.
collecting art. Like the art that I
Mm-hmm.
have in my apartment means so much to me, particularly my friend's art. Like I think that's
Mm-hmm.
so much more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's always good to get in on things at the beginning, you know? Like let's get some crypto art. What are some of your favorite pieces that you own?
So one that I just collected this past week is by our mutual friend, Kitten, Kit. Yeah.
Which one? Was it one
So
that
she minted her first piece on Foundation for our launch, which happened this past week.
oh my gosh.
It's called Part of Me, and when she was working on it and sharing like process shots of how it was coming along, I knew that I needed it.
Oh my
And just like
gosh.
as someone who has really loved seeing her career take off over the past few years since we left school, um, I don't know. I didn't think that it would be possible to even collect a piece of her work.
Yeah. That's so
And so,
cool.
yeah, I'll send you a link to it later.
Oh, I'm
Um,
I'm trying to find it right now.
Um, oh wait, hold on.
Every time I switch screens, my audio gets messed up. Okay. Is there a way that I can find it on the website?
yeah, it's probably, I'm guessing her like username is either KYT.
Oh. Oh, I thought I just saw something that was hers.
Go to foundation.app/KYT.
there we
There you go.
go. This? You own
Yeah,
this?
I, yes.
Wow. That is so cool. Congratulations. This is amazing.
Yeah, for me too, like what's really inspiring and hopeful about this space is that a lot of digital artists who maybe made a living with their art by working for brands or doing collaborations with brands are now just able to make the work that they want to,
Yeah.
and there's an audience for that. And so I've like heard this story a few times that now that like these digital artists are getting paid for the work that they want to make, they spend more time making art that's more personal to them. It doesn't
That's
have
so
like a
interesting.
logo slapped onto it.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's also what I'm really excited for in this space is that artists have more space and more room to experiment and do and make like the work that they want to.
Yeah. It's
Mm-hmm.
so frustrating how to be an artist today, you have to continually produce for free. You know, like people expect you to constantly be posting new work on your Instagram, and you don't get paid for that. And you have to do that to get jobs, and it's just not sustainable. It's not fair. And this is just such a huge game changer. Can you can you tell us
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more about the process of how Kit got this minted? So I'm guessing she made this, and then
Mm-hmm.
kind of what happens after that? How does this become
Yeah.
a FNT? Wait, is that what it's
Yeah.
called?
So
FNT. Okay. I'm like, am I saying it right?
NFT.
NFT. Oh my god, I was saying it
So
wrong.
close. Um, yeah, so she is a, an approved creator on Foundation. So that means that she has access to the creator dashboard
Mm,
when she logs in, and that allows her to mint pieces, which includes uploading the artwork and either a piece of unlockable content is what we're calling it on Foundation, where artists can like link to the full sized work, or what actually came with this piece was a poem, um,
wow.
a supplemental poem that she had written, and
Is that here?
it's not there. That is something that is only
Dang.
accessible to the collector.
Wow.
Um,
That's amazing.
yeah, so then like through the process, you upload an artwork and you mint it on the Ethereum blockchain. You do have to pay a gas fee in order to do that anytime you interact with the blockchain because it's a network that's upheld by users.
Mm,
They get paid for helping to keep the network running. Um, and then she set a reserve price for the piece and it got listed for an auction. Um, and that's how it works.
wow.
Yeah.
What have you done with it since you bought it?
I've spent so much time this past week on the foundation website, of course, for work, but I just keep going back and just looking at everything that I collected over the past week.
Oh my gosh, you got other
Um,
stuff?
I did. If you if you go back to her page,
Hmm.
and then click on the piece again, and then it says owned by.
You set this, right? You don't own this?
Yeah, I set that there.
Okay.
No. Shout out Sophie's product album. Um,
Yes. Wow. So
mhm.
here's your collection.
Yes, these are the pieces that I've collected so far.
Oh my god. Techno feudal lords. Yes.
I don't know. Are you familiar with Devin?
No, I'm not.
Devin Welsh? He is part of Magical Clouds, which is a like band that I really love. And he was like one of the people who, in talking to how artists can use NFTs and crypto,
Hmm.
really opened my eyes to the fact that like musicians can even experiment with NFTs in a way that's not necessarily related to music. Like he has always found like the process of songwriting cathartic, and he started to write poems that he's minting as NFTs.
Really?
Um, and so like to see that like musicians are able to kind of branch out from making music to making, I don't know, other things.
Yeah.
I just like that the window has opened a bit for people to be able to do these.
I mean, it's so cool. Oh my god. I'm like
Yeah.
I'm in
I
awe.
love like
I'm in
the
awe.
yeah, in this one I loved that there was like a nod to LA in it. She's behind her, it's
Hilton?
the Beverly Hills
Oh, the
Hotel.
Beverly Hills
Yeah.
Hotel. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Wow. And
And this is
so,
like part of a series that she has done called Real Girlfriend. Um, she'll be
so,
making more pieces too that are part of this.
wow.
And a lot of the artists that are on Foundation, like I've gotten to know and work with.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Have you anyone you want to tell us about? Any like standout relationships you've made?
uh, I will shout out Shauna X. I also collected one of her pieces too, but she is just someone that I've also known for a long time, and she's one of the artists who's worked with a lot of brands and editorial sites to create artwork for them. Um, and so, like to see that she's able to sell work that means something to her personally was
Yeah.
really cool to me. Um,
This is Oh, I love Nicole. I'm a big Nicole fan.
yeah, there's
Oh my
a
gosh.
piece
Oh,
that
Blake Catherine.
Nicole.
You told me about you told me
Mhm.
about them.
Yeah, Blake Catherine is the artist who's also really on Twitch.
Yeah.
I think it's every week, but she'll go through like the process of creating her works. If you want to click on her page and open one up, I am also in love with what she makes too.
For some reason my internet's running really slow right now and nothing is loading. Um Jonah asked, "Can these artworks change over time or are they fixed to a certain piece of media?"
That's a good question. I'm not entirely sure. Um, I think once you mint an artwork, it becomes a part of the blockchain forever in that instance. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't like take that file and do something else with it and
Mhm.
then mint it as a new NFT.
Right. Okay, interesting. So they're
Mhm.
not technically living yet, but one day. I wouldn't put it past anyone.
That yeah, that's true too.
Jonah said, "I guess it's how the file's encoded into the chain," which makes sense. I wonder if it's my internet that's bugging out or if it's the website. Let's see if Google works. Oh, that's my email. Okay, well that worked. Um, we'll give it some time. Okay, question.
Okay.
How often are people cashing out? So, you know, obviously you've been in this game for a while. You've been
Mhm.
investing, you've been accumulating money. Like how do you know what I mean? Like when these artists are getting paid, do you think that they're converting that to dollars or do you think that a lot of people are keeping their money in the space so that it continues to grow?
Mhm. I think like because the price has been increasing recently, there's more of an incentive for people to hold on to the crypto.
Yep.
I know like specifically for Shauna, who I mentioned, like she has no plans to convert any of her crypto to USD. She's just going to hold on to it. And I would say like I think Ethereum is going to be like it already is such a game changer, and like how
Yeah.
people are starting to use the internet, it's laying the groundwork for a more decentralized web.
Mhm.
um, that is that is not dominated by Facebook or Google or Instagram.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going away anytime soon. I think this is the year that people come to understand like the power of the blockchain,
Oh yeah.
um, instead of like before when maybe it was pure speculation. Which
Mhm.
I think like there'll still be some of that this time around, but there's so many different ways that you can use Ethereum now.
Mhm.
There's like a real like provable use case for what you can do on it.
Right. No, I mean,
Hmm. What would you
it's
do?
limitless possibilities. I have to think about it more. Like everything, anything. What do you think about Polkadot? I've heard a lot of people making big predictions with
Yeah,
it. Are you familiar?
Polkadot is so if I'm wrong, then someone can correct me. But Polkadot is a way for all of the different blockchains to get connected. It's
Okay.
not it's not like a competitor to Ethereum.
Mhm.
It is more like laying the groundwork for how like the Ethereum blockchain can become connected to the Bitcoin blockchain, to Cardano, to Neo, to all these other ones that exist. Ethereum's not the only one. And
Okay.
so right now, like they're like the environments are siloed, and that will hopefully change. I think that's why people are really hot on Polkadot.
Okay. That makes sense. Um,
Can we go to
not
their website just so that I can confirm that that was right?
the Polkadot website.
Yeah.
Yes, I will go there. But real quick, Not Dane Soda
Okay.
said Foundation uses IFPS, Interplanetary File System, and then sent this link. I actually thought I thought Interplanetary File System was a joke, but I guess that's not. Is that real? That's a real thing. Um,
Yeah, it's a this is like what I meant earlier when I said the files are stored in a decentralized server.
mhm.
IPFS is a way for if you had extra room on your server and you wanted to offer it up for anyone to store files on, you could
Right.
do that. And this is like a way of bypassing like the need for a centralized server. In like right now we're on Twitch and all of our data is hosted in the Twitch server,
Right.
um, centralized. But this is a new way of storing files where it's distributed throughout the network.
Mhm.
Um, and
So
yeah,
do
did that make
you?
sense?
Yes, yes. Do you have your own server? Or would
I'm
people
not
like
like a
us
node. If
do
you
that?
wanted to, you could become a node. But it is like everyday people that are doing this. Um, it goes back to like the core ethos of crypto is that there's like an emphasis on decentralization. There's people power for this. Ethereum is held up by people that want to help the network keep running. I think because we're so used to um, our activity online being stored, like I'm sure Google has like massive um, servers where they're hosting all of the data that goes through the Google network.
Mhm.
But yeah, crypto really emphasizes an alternative to that where your, I don't know, like your data belongs to you.
Right. Wow. It do you think this is a weird question. I think it feels like mental gymnastics right now only because it's new. Like
Mm-hmm.
at some point it's not going to feel this complicated or is it actually that complicated? Do you think
Yeah, it's
tell me
like
what you
it,
think.
you don't even have to like fully understand the technical parts of it. Like you just use the internet now. You don't even like like the precursor to IPFS is HTTPS, hypertext protocol, which is how like you can visit any website and it gets the information from a server
Hmm.
to deliver the content to you. You don't think about that every day. You just use the internet.
Right.
And so I think like eventually we'll get to the point where you don't need to like fully comprehend the back end systems of all of this.
Yeah.
It will just work.
Wow. But it's really important understanding the backend system, I think, because there is a reason that this is being created. Like understanding the
Mhm.
back end is recognizing the need for a decentralized system and privatizing
Mhm.
our intellectual property and our data and gaining back the freedom that we've lost out of convenience, in my
Mhm.
opinion.
Yeah, no, that like I think you summed it up well. Like all of these new systems that are emerging are definitely in reaction to the way that we've um, like gotten used to using the internet for so long.
Right. And then
Yeah.
we have the other aspect, which is sustainability and the environment
Hmm.
and productivity.
Hmm.
And we don't have to go into how the blockchain is, I don't, I mean, ecologically effective or not effective. I'd love to get like your brief thoughts on it because I know that this is
Yeah.
something people are talking about right now. Whether it's more sustainable and ecologically friendly to do transactions through blockchain and crypto or not. What do you think?
Yeah. It's definitely something that's being talked a lot about right now. And I would just say that Ethereum is still in like an early development phase. It's like, and it's also not like a static, like monolithic structure. It's something that is like actively being improved upon.
Hmm.
And I would say like it's only a matter of time until like there are more efficient ways that it can be used. The I don't know if you're familiar with ETH2.
Yes.
Yes. So ETH2 has actually like been in the works for a few years now, and the
Hmm.
first phases of getting it up and running and in development started in December. And it moves to, I want to say, proof of stake concept,
Hmm.
which is compared to like the way that transactions happen now. It's more energy intensive, but once ETH2 arrives, it will become less intensive. And so,
Huh.
like in this phase, the like it's valid for people to think that and like know that what's happening in crypto. But it's not like I said, it's not static. Like it's something that's like definitely being worked on, and
Yeah.
um, some of the like a few of my coworkers are even acting as like ETH2 validators.
What
Um,
does that mean?
so they're like as it's being built right now, like because it is a people powered network. There are people that are invested in like the development of it, and so they're providing computer power for it to
Oh.
go further in development. Yeah.
So they're kind of like sharing space from their personal servers? Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what that means.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's say ETH2 becomes active. I mean, it already is active. You can already buy ETH2 if you want, right?
I don't think so.
I thought I definitely thought I saw it on Coinbase. Let me look. But so let's say that becomes the most eco-friendly um, currency. Do you think that people would sell their Ethereum and try to get ETH2 instead, or would it convert over? Do you have any predictions on that?
I don't like I don't want to misspeak, but I think that you could convert it to ETH
Okay.
too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I am not seeing it. I see Ethereum Classic on here, but I don't see ETH.
That was like an earlier fork of Ethereum. Um,
Okay.
mhm.
Interesting. What do you use
Yeah.
Coinbase or what app do you prefer?
I used, I think like Coinbase does a great job of being an on ramp for people to get familiar with crypto.
Mhm.
Um, but now that I've been in this space for a bit more, there are a few other apps that I use.
Mhm.
Um, one's called Celsius. It's a wallet for storing crypto.
Mm.
Um, I have some of it in my MetaMask. There are actually a lot of different like apps now that you can use to buy crypto other than Coinbase.
Is this it? Unbank yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. What were we gonna look up? What did we want to figure out by looking at Polkadot economic?
If I was correct that it is not like an Ethereum competitor, but instead
Oh,
like a used to connect all the blockchains.
yeah, cross blockchain
I mean, we don't have to
transaction.
find it.
Wow. Wow. This is the future. I mean, do you have any predictions? We've already been talking for over an hour. I don't want to take up more of your time. Although, like, we're gonna have to do some follow-ups. This has
Yeah,
been
I'm gonna have to
like,
teach you how to use crypto kitties.
oh my God, I can't wait. I can't wait. I mean, this is just so enlightening. Like, I'm so grateful that Jonah introduced us and that you are so kind as to indulge my ignorance. Get me up to
No,
speed.
don't even like think about it like that. There are so many people in the same boat as you, and I'm always happy to talk to anyone about all of this because I know it can be overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the
Yeah.
ultimate onboarding right now. But so I like to end the show with hot takes. Usually they're just like about anything, like I hate how people on the internet do this or whatever. But this could be about literally anything. But if you have any hot takes about the crypto space right now, um, or predictions for the future, like what do you think is going to happen in the next year or so?
I would hope that as NFTs become more popular, that people really people really come to value digital art and artists in a way that was not possible before. I'd want like people to just really become patrons of the artists that they're supporting, and that like there's the financial transaction part of anything in crypto, but I come to like value it more in terms of relationships that you can build with people. And if you can support artists in any way, like I just want that to be like a normalized future. Um, yeah,
I want that too. Um, I think it's going to be
all kinds
really
of artists. Like I would also include musicians in that camp too, especially after like the last year that we've had, and like their industry has been completely decimated.
yeah.
Um, I think it's so important right now to support like the artists that you care about.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting with artists because there's going to have to be some sort of regulation. You know, if an
Mm,
artist were to sell a recording of a show or a recording of a song,
mm,
um, the person who buys that could seriously profit off that if they charged
mm,
people to access it. So
mm.
that's going to be a whole nother uh, regulation issue to dive into, don't you think?
I don't Yeah, I don't think we're there yet. Another like cool thing about the NFTs that we help artists create is that there's a royalty baked into them. So anytime an artwork is sold and transferred to another collector, then the artist will always get 10% of that sent directly back to their wallet. And so there is like that
Really?
mechanism that is able to be built into the code of an NFT
That's
that I think like has come to like whenever I talk to artists about that, I think they always are like their minds are blown that that is something that can just happen.
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Whew, man, I've got a lot to think about. I've got a lot to learn.
I
Um, this has just been
hope I didn't
so
like just talk at you for
no,
a while. That's always like
not even close. This has been so eye-opening and fascinating. I'd love to get to the point where I'm as fluent in this new language as you are, that I can tell that story. Um, it's unfortunate that it's so confusing and unattainable for a lot of people right now. I mean, people are just starting to get like what Bitcoin is because of what happened the other week with GameStop
Mhm.
and AMC and Dogecoin,
Mhm.
and then putting the art world into it. It just adds this whole other layer.
I also see it as like people are coming into the space from art and NFTs and not necessarily like knowing that they're even
Hmm.
tied to crypto, but
Oh, interesting.
and yeah, and I would say like for anyone that's curious to learn on Foundation's blog, we have a lot of resources that hopefully break down NFTs in a way that are not as intimidating.
Yeah.
And like that piece that you mentioned about the metaverse, I think is another one that I love to reference. If you're not familiar with like what's happening in that space and like the development of Web3.
Yeah.
And then there's even like a crypto primer if like you're very new to it and you just need some help understanding like some of the basic definitions.
Right.
Um, yeah. And there's also
That's
like
awesome.
interviews with the artists that we work with who are also navigating this new space. So if you want to just like approach it from that way, that's also there.
Oh, yeah, I want to check those out. I saw that you did an interview
Yeah.
last week, right?
Yeah, I interviewed an artist who dropped work for our launch on Wednesday, and we're working on a few other pieces that are going to drop this week too that I'm really excited to get out there.
Ooh, I gotta turn my
Yeah.
notifications on. I've been seeing all this stuff. I'm not missing it, but I want to make sure I don't miss anything.
I
Not
will email them directly to
yes.
you.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, thank you. Thank you. That would be amazing. Not Dane Soto said, the last thing Sam said definitely resonates. Valuing all artists, especially considering how artists and consumers have been locked into platforms like YouTube, Instagram, etc. for the last few decades. Not just valuing digital artists, but valuing art that we are already consuming and viewing and listening to on those platforms, but maybe accessing for
Hmm.
free while companies profit from the creators.
Hmm.
Yep. Yep. Something I was
Exactly.
also thinking about, just thinking about the art world as we know it, is that rich people and celebrities kind of have all the power, you know? Like all these major galleries, especially in LA. I'm saying this as someone who loves and lives in LA, well, used to live in LA.
Hmm.
It's all rich, famous people that are buying this stuff, you know? And it's like, if you can't, if you don't have millions of dollars, you can't really afford to participate actively other than as an observer. Um,
Hmm.
and I hope that that doesn't happen in this area. I want people to make a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but I also don't want to be cut out because I can't afford to spend $1 million on something.
Yeah, that's definitely like the higher end of art collecting and like the experience that I've had before in the museum space of like who can collect blue chip contemporary art. But even like that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. Like
Hmm.
I'm just from being friends with artists, like I've been gifted like work. And again, I think it just goes back to like the relationships that you value. And if you just stay with someone, or like if you just like stick around and see them develop in their practice over time, I think it's really rewarding for them to know that they have your support.
Mhm.
Um, and you never know, like they could become someone that their work is really valued in the future. And so you don't even have to like start, you can start small and you can start local and yeah, talk to more artists 2021.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start telling everyone. I mean, I think a lot of my friends already know about this, but okay, last question. How hard is
Mm.
it to create or to get a creator profile with Foundation? Do you have to qualify or something, or can anyone that considers themselves an artist make a profile?
Yeah, so it's right now we're a curated platform,
Okay.
which means that the artists that are on Foundation were selected by someone on our team, but we actually have just opened a referral program. So artists who have minted work on the site are now able to invite three more creators to have access to it. But also, if there's like anyone that is thinking about this space, like please find me on Twitter and DM me, and I'm always happy to talk through any of it with you. And yeah, always open to that. My Twitter is at earth to sam underscore. And if you just want to follow along with Foundation, we're at with FND on Twitter.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sam. This has been so enlightening. That's all. That's the only word I can think of to describe this.
I can't wait for you to start collecting and for you to
Yeah.
like dip a toe into
Yes.
crypto world.
Yes. I have kind of a crazy Monday, Tuesday of this week, but after that, this is what I'm doing. Um,
It's going
so you will
down.
be hearing from me. And thank you everyone for watching. I'm sure you all enjoyed this as much as I did. And yeah, we'll do a follow up. We'll see how things go, and there will be a lot more to talk about. So can't wait to chat again soon, Sam. Thank you again, and have a great Sunday evening.
Yeah. See you on the internet.
See you on the
Peace.
internet. Bye.
Bye.